Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Melissa here with your 7 a.m. motivation and mindset is our topic today. So as you come hopping in, let me know that you're here. And if you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. But I am super excited. Yesterday's conversation went beyond what I imagined with the comments and what was received on the other end of it by those who have listened to the message, because we really tapped into what it looks like when we take time to plan. We're talking about 2021, but we're also talking about just you in general on a day to day basis and how you live your best life and the things that you can change that's going to make you feel even more engaged in your life and have the love, the material things, whatever it is you're seeking, relationships, job that you truly desire. And I know it all starts with that vision. So we talked about the vision yesterday, and it's all about raising that vibration. When you match your desires and your beliefs together, that's where you start understanding that there's undertones, there's voices in your head, there's tracks that have been laid down that oftentimes will keep you stuck and stalled because you've not cleaned up those past stories to recognize how they are defeating what it is you truly desire. So, for instance, if you're looking to make more money and that's what you're calling in for yourself, and out of the blue, you receive $100, you're super excited. But there's this voice that matches the belief that first says, I love that I received this money. But the other voice says, yeah, but that'll never happen again. That was just a shot in the dark. You're lucky you got that. You better hang on to that. And then you tuck it away and maybe you don't spend it for a while. Or you start believing that this is not my normal, right? It's not that I can call in $100 or more when I want that. And so that's the vibrational level that we want to start shutting down anything that shows up that's self-defeating. So again, with the vibration, when we're in this higher level of vibration, that vortex, that energy frequency, it's about making changes there. There's two types of learning when you think about mindfulness and mindset. So I looked up the definitions, and mindfulness is being conscious and aware of the present moment. So mindfulness is we're right here, we're on our computer, we're on our phone, we're in this moment. It's 7 a.m. Melissa. Like that's mindfulness. We're mindful of what's going on around us. We might feel, uncomfortableness in our body, or we might know that something's in the kitchen cooking that you got to go check on. Like mindfulness is, everything that's going on around you. How many of you go unconscious to that, right? When you're driving, that's the perfect example. The mindfulness is kind of lost at times because you're in this windshield time and you kind of like go, oh, I went from here to there and I didn't think about what was going on in between. So you're not being mindful, right? You're kind of dipping into a whole nother level of your mind. But mindfulness is one of the key elements, and then mindset. And mindset is described as establishing a set of attributes that you hold to be true. So your mindset is, I can lose weight if I eat right and I exercise. I can make more money if I work harder and work longer hours. I can have good relationships if I show up and be a better partner than the other person, and they'll align to that energy. So it's all about those two things coming together, marrying the two together. Yesterday, we talked about, when you have the desire and you have the belief, you set the desire when you're up here in this high point, you're feeling good, you're feeling great, you're happy, you're joyful. You set the desire, and then you come over here to the belief. And that's where we're going to use the mindset and the mindfulness to take this belief to the next level. Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, and you lose 100 pounds, but then what happens when the weight comes back on or you don't maintain what you had developed for yourself? That's the belief part, right? Something in that is triggering the belief, is triggering that mindset to go back to those old patterns, to lay down those tracks and remind you, well, remember when this happened? Remember when you got all that money with that job and then you spent it all and then the job went away? Like whatever story you're telling yourself. And again, fit this to you. And those are where I can have conversations. If this feels like, well, I've got this situation and I'm not sure like how this all plays out, Melissa, reach out, let me know. We'll clean it up. We are going to do a Q&A on this at the end of the week. So be sure to jot down any questions and bring those to the table. We'll do that in a private Zoom call because I feel like people are more vulnerable and will share, even though this group is safe, but we can see one another. We can have that connection. So that'll happen probably Friday afternoon, evening, or maybe even on Saturday morning. I haven't decided yet. If anybody wants to share their comments, that would be helpful, and when would be a good time for Q&A. But you can put them in this feed as well. So, okay, back to the motivation, right? This is what this is all about, to get you focused. So there's two ways that we learn things. So we're talking about mindfulness and mindset, how working the two together can take your desires and get the belief to make it come true, to make it your reality. And so what that looks like is two ways we learn. One, we learn by declarative learning, which is you're learning about something. So for instance, maybe you learn about kindness or you learn about honesty. Now, you learn about it, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a kind person or you're going to be honest, right? That's the declarative learning. When we look then at the second piece of learning, that's when we're talking about procedural learning. And procedural learning is what you did when you learned to brush your teeth out of a habit. Like it wasn't always something that you did, and then you did a habit because the procedure became every day, twice a day, however that looks for you. So those are the two types of learning. This is where the real transformation can take place. Now, when we talk about time to plan for 2021, this is what's setting you up. I mean, I am giving you these tools that I have learned years ago. I've been practicing them. I'm not perfect at them by any means. So don't you come into this thinking, if I can't be perfect, I'm not going to do it. You show your ass up and you play with me because this is where it all happens. We are igniting that magic. And I want that for you because it is such a better place than where you might be already when you're feeling stuck and stalled and defeated and you don't know how to manage the husband or the wife or the kids or the job or the relationships. Like it's just sometimes it's a even a snowball effect where you find yourself really not in alignment and all you want to do is sleep or eat or drink or smoke or cry or cuss or shop. Like all of that. I get it. I get it. I've been there. I've been working with hundreds of people on their journey, helping them just to get that feeling of heaviness, just release it, find a new way, find a new conversation, lay down those new tracks. So this is the great part, right? The key thing here is, are you willing to drop the limiting beliefs? Are you willing to drop the limiting beliefs? Maybe you put your hand on your heart. I'm like, I am so ready to let go of those stories. I am so ready to drop those beliefs that I believe to be true that no longer serve me. I want to let them go. Feel that in your heart space. Feel the attachment. Because when you get up here and you get them jumping monkeys in there and they start running the show, or if you want to call it your ego, the higher self cannot do what it needs to do. The higher self comes into play through here. It channels through here. If it feels good in my heart, it must be good for me, for my soul, for my experience. So we're going to drop those limiting beliefs. How do we do that? So we already talked about the two types of learning. There's one that's called the declarative learning, which is you are taught something. Someone teaches you like I'm doing right now. But the thing is, the second part of it is the procedural. Are you going to put it into practice? Are you going to use that on a daily basis? So the big thing is not to take the information and think that because you mess up one day, it's done. You can't repeat it. Goes back to eating. If I'm going to eat healthy and then I eat the chocolate cake, well, two things can happen. I can eat the rest of the chocolate cake, or I can just blow my whole plan and diet for the rest of the day. That's not what you want to do. But we feel like it's easier if I make that decision. My mindfulness tells me otherwise, but my mindset is, well, these are attributes that I know to be true. If I mess up on my diet today, there's no sense in trying to get back on the diet again tomorrow. If I spend or waste a lot of money, that's going to be my new way that I handle and control money. That's your past story. That's your laid down tracks that no longer serve you. So it's aligning with the mindfulness and the mindset, but also taking into practice those two types of learning. Seems like heaviness, right? It seems like, oh gosh, I feel like I'm in school. This is too much to learn, too much to do, but it's not. It really is being focused. The mindfulness starts first, where you're able to say, is this a limiting belief? Is this something that I'm telling myself that really isn't true for me, that really doesn't hold value like it once did? If I look in the mirror and analyze or critique myself, whatever that might look like, maybe I've got bags under my eyes this morning because I didn't get enough rest, or I didn't sleep well, or I didn't put the right moisturizer underneath there, right? Like we can always find these things to be critical about, and that's where the mindfulness comes into play because by definition, it's that consciousness or the awareness of the present moment. So you're going to start today in this moment of mindfulness of looking at how you tell yourself stories, of how you're telling yourself that this isn't going to work. This isn't for me. I don't know what to do next. I feel stuck. I feel stalled. If you really get clear with your mindfulness and allow it to give you direction, just like journaling or meditation, you look for those little nuggets that is going to shift your energy, that's going to shift your behaviors, that's going to shift your beliefs. And that's where you start creating this new version of yourself, this new vision of what you have for your reality. The vision boards help you get a glimpse into the future. Who do I have to be in the future to create that? What do I have to do now in order to create that? The things from the past will serve you, and they'll serve you when you know how to manage them as well, how to use them mindfully. Because if you start pulling things from the past and repeating those patterns, you're going to get the same results, right? That's the definition of insanity, when you expect different results, but you're doing the same thing. So interrupt those patterns, start finding a way to really be mindful, like in a moment, step back, step out, walk away. If you're in a situation where you feel like this is not serving me, give yourself permission to say, I need to step away, or that's not something I can talk about in this moment, or this doesn't serve me to be in this conversation. Like whatever that looks like, dismiss yourself, because that's only going to give you more uncertainty than confidence. And we want confidence and clarity, right? That's where it takes you into this higher vibration. If I'm confident and I have clarity, like when I was 16 and I was going to drive a car, I knew I was going to drive clear to California. I didn't know it was going to take days to drive there, because in my mind, I could only see me driving the car. Wherever the car went is where it went. I had the confidence and clarity to step into that version of this person doing the thing that I wanted to do. And that's what we do with our life. It's almost like make believe, but the make believe doesn't have to feel fake. It doesn't have to feel like it's never going to happen, because those are old beliefs. It's stepping into the reality of what you want to create for yourself. So find ways to tap back in. Mindfulness can happen when you give yourself permission to let it happen, when you're willing to drop those limiting beliefs and say, I'm going to be in this moment. One of the things I helped my clients with the other day was homeschooling. A lot of the kids are back to virtual learning, and it's a struggle. And if you have more than one child, I can't imagine. I was a former teacher. I get it. Like teaching a group is one thing, but when you're teaching different subjects, that can be another thing. So here was the conversation went similar to, I'm trying to homeschool, I'm trying to cook breakfast, I'm trying to get my husband out the door, I'm trying to get ready for my day. Okay. So what's happening is now the kids are taking an hour longer to do their homework. You've burnt the biscuits in the oven. You've stubbed your toe. Your husband's screaming because he can't find his tie. Like whatever the story was, I don't think it was quite that bad, but it sounds good. But the thing was, what if she could put everything away, the phone, not cook the breakfast, all those things, and focus on the kids and their learning? Will it change? Chances are it will, because the mindfulness is there. Everybody's engaged in this moment. And what happens is you go from an hour to 15 minutes, everybody's going to want more of that. Yes, more, please. So, mindfulness is that key operator, is that time when you can tap into this present moment and be mindful of how you want to be, do, act, and behave. And that all comes with dropping the limiting beliefs, raising the vibration, setting those desires, and then being able to establish those new attributes about the story. It's all about telling your story, my friend. And I encourage you, if you journal it, if you put it on a vision board, if you speak about it as if it already is, start right there. Be mindful. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I do to be mindful in my life today? How did I show up? When did I pause and take time for me? When did I pause and really know what was going on around me? The smells, the noises, the feeling, the vibration, the energy. That's where you start tapping into that magic. Sounds good? I am super excited to be bringing you this training, this opportunity to raise your vibration, to look at 2021 with new lenses, take off some of the old layers that once were there. And tomorrow I'll be back at 7 a.m. and I'm not sure what the topic is tomorrow, but for now, what do you really want your life to be about this year? And that's what we're going to start moving into. What do you really want your life to be like this year and beyond? Okay. Well, that's all for now, my friends. I hope you have an amazing day. As always, I'm sending you tons of love, lots of light, and I will see you tomorrow. But bye for now.